Tune in next week for a much better episode. For now, though, courage.
Vicky Vale.
Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City?
Nice outfit.
You look fine.
I didn't ask. I have given a name to my pain.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Where did you get those wonderful toys?
My life is really complex.
Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Hello and welcome to the 25th episode of the M-Wire Movie Week in Review. Today we're going to be kicking off yet another Spotlight series, this time dedicated to DC movies. For the next 6 episodes we will be discussing each Batman film, both from the 90s and the most recent ones with the Christopher Nolan verse. This will be Volume 1 of the DC Spotlight. I am TFG Mike, joined by Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
And an impromptu special guest, Mike the Birdman Dodd from This Week in Geek and all the other various crap that he does on the internet. Hello.
Howdy ho.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Had a rough week at school, but then again, how is that different from any other week for me?
Yeah. I'm too old to go back to school. Just way too old to go back to school.
How old are you?
I will be 30 February 9th.
Wow, you are old.
Old
You're good. You're gonna die soon.
Shut the hell up.
I say that with love, Mike.
Yeah, right. Oh, crap. So, Steve, how are you?
Pretty good. I just got up.
Yeah.
Wow, you lazy bugger.
No, I was awake. I went to sleep and then got back up in time for the show.
Yeah.
Helps me stay awake and focus.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going to be getting into Batman 1989, which, it's funny, I actually found, Mike, I listened to your all's commentary, and you had mentioned the Diet Coke commercial. Now, I originally remember seeing it on TV and the VHS. It's a damn shame it's not on the DVDs.
See, I'm really surprised they wouldn't bother putting that on as a special feature. I mean, it makes complete sense to include in the supplementary material, and strangely, it's missing.
Oh, it is. I do. Before we even start this whole spotlight on the 90s or the 89/90s Batman films, I know you have the Blu-ray version, but I have the regular DVD version of the Batman the Motion Picture Anthology 1989 to 1997. I love this thing. I've never had these films on DVD before. I had the Batman film on VHS back in the day, but this is just an awesome set.
It is. Actually, I originally had the DVDs. I actually bought them. I found the entire set for like $30. And then I contacted my friends at Warner Brothers saying, hey, can we get a copy of this? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I gave my DVD set to Dave, so like he can have it. But seriously, this is like one of the most complete DVD and or Blu-ray sets I've ever seen. It's seriously worth it.
There are 2 DC superheroes that have very good complete film series sets. It's Batman and Superman. Our Superman spotlight won't start until I think it's episode 51 of this show. and I'll be talking about that 14-disc set once that comes around. But yeah, this is a very good, very excellent 8-disc set, over 18 hours of special features. Wow, 18 hours of special features. Holy crap.
And they're totally worth every second of it. I know Dave and Pierce sat down and watched all the special features, listened to all the commentaries, and you really do get a lot here in these. And I know I found a newfound respect for Joel Schumacher for this, despite, well, the bat rape that happens later on. But you know what? He's just a passionate guy, and a lot of it came down to studio pressure, but not so much with like Batman 89 and Batman Returns, which we'll be talking about later on, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, seriously, these are some of the best special features you'll find anywhere, and commentaries that are not boring either.
Right. So we will be right back after this.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence? Give me the shine. Let it splash.
Oh, hey, the new king in town. Young and old, gather round. Yeah. Black and white, red and green. The funkiest thing you've ever seen.
Tell you what his name is.
Party man, rock a party like nobody can. Rules and regulation, no place in this nation. Party man, party people say now.
$1 bill.
Somebody holler if you want to party.
I kind of like this one, Bob. Leave it.
Get it up. Oh yeah.
You can take that off now, I think. Oh, you're beautiful. In an old-fashioned kind of way. But I'm sure we can make you more today. Is that your portfolio?
I'm meeting someone who wants to see my work.
Crap. 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 Ah. Now that's good work. The skulls. The bodies. You give it all such a glow. I don't know if it's art, but I like it. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about, sweetie. I was in the bath one day when I realized why I was destined for greatness. You know how concerned people are about appearances. This is attractive, that is not. Well, that is all behind me. I now do what other people only dream. I make art until someone dies. See? I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
What do you want?
My face on the $1 bill.
You must be joking.
Do I look like I'm joking?
No.
Listen, we mustn't compare ourselves to regular people. We're artists. For instance, let me challenge you with a little piece I did. Bob, Alicia, you will take pictures and record my work. You will join me in the avant-garde, the new aesthetic.
Jack, you said I could watch you improve the paintings.
Oh, I'm in trouble now.
Why is she wearing a mask?
Well, she's just a sketch, really. Alicia, sit down. Show the lady why you wear the mask. You see, Miss Vale, Alicia's been made over in line with my new philosophy, so now, like me, she is a living work of art. I'm no Picasso, but do you like it?
It's great. So, what can I do for you?
Oh, a little song, a little dance, Batman's head on a lance.
Hello, we are back, and as I said before, we're going to be talking about Batman, which was billed, I believe I remember this correctly, I was 9 years old in 1989, so I hope I remember this right. It was billed as one of the greatest films of the end of the decade. And it is a 1989 superhero film based on DC Comics character of the same name. Directed by Tim Burton, the film stars Michael Keaton in the title role, as well as Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, Robert Wuhl, and Jack Palance, the film in which Batman deals with the rise of a powerful villain known as the Joker in the first installment of Warner Brothers' Batman film series. When was the first time that you guys saw this? Steve, when did you first see this?
I think I first seen this probably around the time I was like 5 years old or something. This is when I really got into the Batman series. I believe I'd seen this movie first, and then from there I guess I just kind of kept going. I got into the my favorite characters were like Joker and the Batman, and I had all kinds of the gear from the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, when this first came out for me, I was super excited because I remember watching all the reruns of the 66 show, because they reran that all throughout the 80s. And when this got announced, I'm like, oh, way cool. And then I was in, I don't know, there was a store up north in Massachusetts called Child World. It was basically a rival for Toys R Us. And they had the Batman toys in there. And they had the 1989 Batmobile, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that. And I had it for about, I think, 6 years, and after that, I don't know what happened to it, because I ended up moving around. But yeah, I think I first saw this in early 90, most likely. I actually remember seeing, it was very funny, I remember sitting in a JCPenney, watching it on a TV on a VHS, with a Sears Wishbook catalog in my lap. Mike, when did you first see this?
I actually saw this theatrically when it first came out. I was probably around 7 or 8 years old. Actually, this is the first movie I clearly remember seeing with a girl. I went with my next-door neighbor, Melissa, and her parents. Our big thing was to go to the drive-in every couple of weeks, and I remember I saw this movie under pretty much the most ideal circumstances in terms of mood. It was thunderstorming and raining at the time when this movie came out. Like, I remember sitting in the drive-in theater with my popcorn, sitting next to Melissa, who I never even got to first base with. And I just remember the rain hitting the windshield and just listening to the thunder and then just watching everything happening on screen. I was so enthralled by this. I mean, I thought it was so absolutely badass. I saw it in the theater once, and then when the VHS came out, I saw it like a bunch more times over the years. I think if I look around my house, I could probably still find the original VHS. I didn't have a lot of the toys for this one, actually. I had one Batman who didn't have a cape. I think I had a Joker figure, but I'm not sure. My next-door neighbors, Arthur and Mark, they had, like, everything for this movie, and I was so jealous, but their family was, like, rich beyond belief. And I always wanted the 1989 Batmobile, even to this very day. If I could get one that was complete, it would receive a very awesome spot on my shelf. I love it, I love it, I love it. In fact, I would love to see a Batman Transformer at some point. But anyway, I digress. But, yeah, like, I remember seeing this, and I was never scared of it. I just thought it was cool. Although, one of the weirdest parts about this movie that really got me and made me think that maybe there's a little bit of a screw loose upstairs, the Joker kills a guy with his joy buzzer, and you guys all know that part, right?
Yeah.
And he leans into the guy and goes, "I'm glad you're dead." And even to this very day, that makes me laugh to the point of almost pissing my pants, and I don't know why. I think I'm a little bit disturbed.
Well, you are, but yeah, I mean, when I was watching it this week, I kind of laughed myself, but I've watched this film twice in the past 2 weeks, because I watched it, because originally this episode was supposed to air 2 weeks ago, but because of coming off of holiday stuff and everything else, we just couldn't get the scheduling to record it. So I'd watched it in preparation for the record, which never happened at the time, and I watched it again this evening. And after watching this thing twice, I don't want to watch it again for another 20 years.
Really?
It's not that I dislike it overall, but it's just like, oh my god, I cannot sit through this film again. When I was a kid, it was awesome as hell, it was cool as hell, but now, outside of the Batmobile and the Batwing, this film has no overall appeal for me. I wish...
What? You suck. This was before Tim Burton lost his mind. This is probably the best film he's ever done.
I would argue that and say Edward Scissorhands, but that's just me. Anyways, I wish they would have killed fucking Ox. I cannot stand that fucking guy. And one thing that I noticed, and I noticed continuously, dumb Vicky Vale bitch, she's always taking her fucking shoes off and running through the fucking streets barefoot. That's not gonna... I mean, I know it's a movie, I know it's not real life, but that's not practical.
Well, you try running in high heels.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, granted, she was in high heels, but damn, it's just not... I don't know. She could have broken the damn heel off, but anyway, yeah, I honestly don't, right now, I am so sick of this film, I'm just gonna put the box set up back on my shelf after we finish this spotlight. I can't watch this again. Not for a while, anyway.
Now, see, I could sit there and I could watch the Tim Burton films of it before I could sit through the path of the 90s version of the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in hell I can sit through Forever and Batman and Robin.
Well, you're going to have to in order to talk about them for this show, and those episodes will come later, but, yeah, I don't know. It's hitting me so hard that this film is just such a letdown to me now. I guess it's because I'm a crotchety old man now, but it's just like, oh my god.
I think you're starting to get Alzheimer's, because this movie's amazing.
Oh god. Just, I don't know. Why don't you summarize the plot for us, Mr. Dodd?
Okay, well, the basic plot of the 1989 Batman, directed by Tim Burton, it's basically the origin story of Batman. So we're introduced to Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom, and we see his parents killed by criminals, and obviously he swears, I will defend the weak and make sure this never happens to anybody again, and I'm going to find the guy that killed my parents. So it turns out Gotham City's in the grip of this crime wave. There's all these criminals running around, and they're led by one of the guys from City Slickers, Jack Palance, a.k.a. Carl Grissom, and it turns out there's all this corruption within the police department. Like, they're paying off cops to lead them on raids and everything. So, at one point, Lando Calrissian, a.k.a. Billy D., is playing D.A. Harvey Dent, which I thought that was a bold move to make him black, but anyway. So they're trying to fight the crime that's going on. So at one point, they get this tip that there's going to be something going down at this chemical plant. And the police show up, and Jack Nicholson's character, what's his name? Oh, Jack Napier, is set up for the fall. And so Jack Napier kills the guy that ratted him out, and Batman shows up. So after a brief fight there, Jack Napier is knocked into this vat of goo, and we presume he's dead. So a little bit later, you see his hand come out of the goo, and he's this twisted shell of a man, sees a plastic surgeon, and turns into the Joker, because something is obviously unhinged. So while all this is happening, you see Bruce Wayne, who's going around fighting crime as Batman, but he gets taken in by this reporter who's played by Kim Basinger, who is Vicky Vale, who is the woman who gets involved with Batman and eventually finds out his secret. So anyway, so what happens is the Joker, Jack Nicholson's character, decides he's going to go after the guy that set him up, that being Jack Palance. So He kills Jack Palance in cold blood, and he decides he's going to take over the crime syndicate. And you get the famous line from the trailer, "Wait till they get a load of me." And obviously, hilarity ensues. So, eventually, the Joker just starts causing chaos all over Gotham. He's been poisoning products to make people basically turn into, like, Jokers. So, I guess it's kind of a nod to the Joker Venom, which is one of his signature weapons, where it causes the rigor mortis, which gives you the super silly-looking grin and all that. And then Batman cracks the code, says if you mix these products, you'll die. So the Joker's like, you can't do this to my fun, blah, blah, blah. And they start this huge kind of rivalry. So they have a few fights here and there, and the Joker takes an interest in Vicky Vale. So Batman's like, that's mine, can't have any. And there is, basically, she finds out that Bruce is Batman after bringing her back to the Batcave. And then things start to escalate when the Joker decides he wants to bring happiness to the citizens of Gotham by throwing them a huge party and calling out Batman. He's like, who are you gonna trust me? I'm giving away free money. Or a man who dresses around in pajamas and fights crime. And basically, the object the Joker wants to do is to kill everybody because he's a lunatic. He's going to use poison gas to kill them via these giant parade balloons because he hijacks more or less Gotham's bicentennial or something like that. So anyway, the end of the movie, there's a huge fight between the Joker and Batman where the one famous line, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" And it clicks with Batman. "You're the guy that killed my parents." Epic fights there, and then the Joker is defeated, but not before he tries to kill Batman and Vicky Vale one last time by getting them from a helicopter. Batman attaches a gargoyle to his leg via one of his various gadgets, and the Joker falls to his well-deserved death. And the police come up to the Joker's corpse, they investigate it, and there happens to be this barrel of laughs, which I thought was a great gag, by the way. And then the city is saved, and then Batman gives the police the bat signal and a letter to be read by the police, and he says, "I will defend Gotham, I'm your secret defender, blah, 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 blah." And thus, the legacy of Batman is born, working with the police and being the epic good guy that we all know.
Yeah, I've got a few problems with this film. One thing I want to point out to you, I think I posted it to yours and Dave's Twitters. When you guys did the commentary, you said that the people in the museum, you thought that they weren't dead, that they were just passed out from the gas. No, they're dead. They're clearly dead.
I don't know. Knox isn't dead.
No, not Knox. No, Knox wasn't at the museum though. The people in the museum when Vicky was in the museum waiting on supposedly Bruce.
Yeah.
And the package arrived, and it was the gas mask. He said, "Put this on now." All of a sudden, the gas starts coming out. And the gas fills up the museum restaurant thing, and everybody dies.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was fighting the fact that they were dead, and I think Dave said they were knocked out. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know, but they are dead. Joker's a homicidal maniac. Second issue I have with this film, just from my very limited comic knowledge, the Joker has never had an actual name. Regardless of whether it's an alias or not, you don't name the Joker.
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, speaking of that, I mean, I think it's in The Killing Joke, I think, where the Joker recounts his history, and he says, some days I remember it one way, some days I remember it the next. I mean, I think DC has said they're never going to give a definitive background to the Joker. I mean, originally he was a bad guy called the Red Hood, allegedly, and it's very similar to the Batman storyline where he gets framed or whatever. But yeah, I wasn't too happy with this, but I think for the purposes of establishing the superhero genre film, Tim Burton did have to give the Joker a name so you can identify with him as a villain. He was always an asshole, so to speak, and this is where he came from. So I'm okay with that. And to address your second point where, like, everybody dies, 1989 Batman has one huge body count.
Oh, I know it.
And that's my problem I've got with this. I mean, they say Batman never kills anybody. No, he kills a few people very, very, very deliberately in this.
Yes, very much so. My other issue is how they start this film. they started by kind of retelling the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, but no, it's this other couple named, the father's name is Harold, the son's name is Jimmy, and then the two muggers mug them, and then of course Batman comes in, but they cut back to that, use the same actors for the mother, father, and kid to show Bruce Wayne's parents being killed by the Joker. I don't like that at all. Actually, it's funny, my buddies over at Earth2.net, Michael Sims, Ian Wilson, and James Doe actually have already reviewed this, and this was Mike's reaction to the Joker killing Batman's parents.
It was the Joker who killed his parents.
Oh, day. Ooh.
The only reason you're doing that, Mike, is because you can't make a face palm go through an audio feed.
I'm holding my face right now. Oh, fuck. Yes, people, that was my forehead on my desk. That was someone could... Ow.
Michael David Sims of Earth2.net basically nearly concussed himself upon hearing the fact that the Joker killed Batman's parents.
See, I kind of don't mind that. I mean, because it does set them up as antagonists, but it's a little too big of a coincidence. That I will definitely give you.
You know, there's a lot of good, funny at the time, cheesy lines in this. You know, like the whole, wait till they get a load of me. Another one that I liked was, where does he get all those wonderful toys? And at the end, why didn't anybody tell me he had one of those things? Bob Gun. Bang. Gonna need a...
That part was awesome.
Actually, it's funny, Bob the Goon. I never noticed this until recently. It's played by Tracy Walter, who actually plays another character in one of my favorite cop TV shows, Nash Bridges. He plays Angel. I never knew that was Tracy Walter playing Bob the Goon. That was so cool. All right, let's let Steve talk. What did you think of the plot, Steve? Or do you have any issues with this film?
Other than it's extremely dated in some aspects of it, I didn't really have any issues per se on as far as the movie is concerned. I think that the people they chose, as far as like the Joker and the Batman, were and still are pretty good by comparison to the latest movie, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I would have to say that this is my second favorite alternative actors for these roles. But as far as the story is concerned, I didn't mind so much the Joker killing, Bruce Wayne's parents, because that just kind of sets him up as, forever rivals. The only thing is, wouldn't it make Jack Nicholson's character of the Joker a hell of a lot older?
Yeah.
You would think so.
I don't know, it just that was one of the things that kind of struck me of watching that scene. Like, okay, wouldn't he be, a lot older, considering Bruce Wayne was just, probably about 10 years old, and this guy's still in his, 20s or 30s at least.
Well, I guess it could be argued, I believe it's been said before that Bruce Wayne was 8 years old when his parents got killed. You could argue the fact that maybe Bruce/Batman in this film is maybe mid-30s, early to mid-30s. You could argue that the Joker is supposed to be, I'd say, late 30s, early 40s. But
I'd say, yeah. I mean, that's one discrepancy that now that you mention it, does kind of stick out in my mind. I mean, Bruce doesn't look any older than maybe 35, maybe pushing 37, whereas you're right, Jack Nicholson should be maybe, I don't know, I'd even argue as old as late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just one of the things that stuck out to me about that particular character's role in this, whereas in the latest incarnation, The Dark Knight, I didn't actually think about that.
Yeah. Do we have any other final thoughts on the actual plot of the film, or any other issues with the actual plot?
See, I don't think as as an origin story for the beginning of the Batman franchise, this movie does anything really horribly wrong. I mean, I think the plot moves along. I mean, it's fairly well paced. I mean, you could probably cut some of the crap with Knox, unfortunately. I mean, although I do love his character in this. But I'd say overall this was a really good movie to kick off the Batman franchise, and this is before Tim Burton decided to get all weird and stuff. So overall, I think overall it was a fairly decent plot. I mean, it really got. I mean, you didn't have to be a super nerd to get into this movie, and I think that's why it has such a wide appeal, because it's so accessible on so many levels.
Oh yeah. So I guess we can go into some of the casting. Some of the names on here kind of really surprised me. Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Pierce Brosnan, Tom Selleck, and Bill Murray were all considered for Batman.
Why the hell would they consider Bill Murray as Batman?
There's no way he'd fit that role.
None of those names would fit that role, I don't think, at all.
No, I think pretty much they nailed it on the head with having Michael Keaton as the Batman for the time.
See, if they had Tom Selleck, you'd still have to have the friggin' mustache.
You'd be like, I'm Batman.
And Magnum P.I.
Okay, here's another little note that's in the notes here. Tim Curry, Willem Dafoe, David Bowie, and James Woods were considered for the Joker. Okay, first of all, I'm sorry. David fucking Bowie, no.
I could see
no.
But he'd have to approach it like Heath Ledger did. It wouldn't be the same part.
Now, recently I've seen the trailer for, this is completely off the Batman actual topic, but Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, with James Woods voicing Owlman in that. I could probably see James Woods as some sort of Joker, whether it's not this film, but in the future, because he does have that whole evil thing kind of down. Robin...
I think he'd make a much better Riddler.
Nah, could be. Robin Williams lobbied hard for the part. Yeah, no. No, I don't see John Keating as the Joker.
See, I could see Robin Williams as the Joker, but only if he based it kind of like the Batman animated series, where the Joker's still a psycho, but he's more of a happy psycho. He wasn't the evil menacing that Jack Nicholson was. He'd be, I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to kill you using an acid cream pie. You know what I mean? It would be wacky, but it would still be evil. But it wouldn't be the same movie. You know what I mean?
Right. We should talk about the music for this film, because, holy crap, Danny Elfman. Wow.
One of his best scores he's
if
ever
not
done.
The best score he's ever done. It's funny, when I watched this film earlier, I can tell every single, not really thing that Bruce Timm and company took from the movie, but I can tell you every single thing that they adapted into Batman the Animated Series for the Joker from this film. The squirting acid flower, the laughing gas, because that was used in several episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Danny Elfman did the theme for Batman the Animated Series. The Batmobile design. If this film didn't happen, Batman the Animated Series would not be what it is today.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, I really did like the music in this. Not too sure how I feel about Prince doing the majority of the soundtrack, but
yeah, that was a little bit of a strange choice. But then again, when you consider how popular Prince was at the time, I guess it makes sense. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, we should be thankful this movie was made back when, because if you would try to do it now, I guarantee you they get somebody ridiculous for the soundtrack. I mean, it would kind of like be the whole James Bond thing, and you'd get a really crappy cover artist. I mean, like, for example, just to go off topic here, look at the theme song for Quantum of Solace and compare that to Casino Royale. I got a feeling we'd probably get someone like Lady Gaga doing the Batman theme or something stupid like that.
Or they would turn it into a Eminem Raps video.
Or maybe it'd be Nickelback or something
bastard.
I'm sorry, that sucked, Mike.
Anyway.
Steve, help me out here. Tell Mike they suck. Just please help me out.
Their old stuff was good. Anything
exactly.
New, it's lame.
Moving on.
You both are kicked off this show.
You can't kick me off. I co-own.
I bring intelligence to this conversation.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, moving right along.
Lightsaber farts. Oh God. As far as the let's see, where else am I going to go? Oh, here we go. The release and the marketing. During production, Peters read in the Wall Street Journal that the comic book fans were unsatisfied with the casting of Michael Keaton. In response, Peters rushed the first film trailer that played in thousands of theaters during Christmas. It is simply an ensemblage of scenes without music, but happened to create enormous anticipation for the film. The months predating Batman's release in June 1989, a popular cultural phenomenon rose known as Batmania. Over $750 million worth of merchandise was sold. Cult filmmaker and comic book writer Kevin Smith remembered, "That summer was huge. You couldn't turn around without seeing a bat signal somewhere. People were cutting it into their fucking heads. It was the summer of Batman if you were a comic book fan, and it was pretty hot." Just overall, it
was great marketing for this.
Oh
movie.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm getting too old now, but I don't see the fun that I saw when I was a kid in this film. I just can't see it. But
well, because that's it, Mike. Because you are so old. I mean, when we were kids, let's look back at the kind of marketing for this. There was fast food tie-ins. I remember chips that had Batman. I remember the whole Diet Coke thing. I think even McDonald's or Burger King had some kind of a tie-in with this. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but they had those movie program books that came out, and when we were kids, we ate it up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think the movie was so huge, because kids got to see a movie that wasn't as boring as Superman. And I love Superman, but I think those movies by Richard Donner are boring. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think with this one, because the Tim Burton movie, when this came out, I think the reason it appealed to kids too is it didn't insult their intelligence. Because it was still serious, it still had all the adult themes that mommy and daddy enjoy, but we still had our fight scenes. And when you looked at the marketing for this, it kind of brought us into it. Our parents were getting excited about Batman too. And you want to know how effective this marketing was, Mike? The Batman 89 logo is tattooed on my right arm. That's how effective the marketing was. Kevin Smith is right when he says people were carving it into their heads. It was everywhere, and you couldn't escape it.
Yes.
And some pretty kick-ass video games came out of this, too, on a side.
Yes, the original by Sunsoft. I was going to say Ubisoft, but it's Sunsoft.
Second best Batman video game ever made.
And the first would be Arkham Asylum, right?
Damn right.
I'm going to come up to Canada and steal that damn Batarang.
It's not really worth it. But then again, I've seen the collector's edition go for $60. So if you're going to buy it, now's the time.
So do we, well, I guess I'll go into the home video release. There have been many versions of the film, including a VHS, Laserdisc, single-disc DVD, special edition DVD, and an anthology set. The Batman the Motion Picture Anthology, released in 2005, included 2-disc special edition DVDs of Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher's Batman films. This anthology set was re-released on Blu-ray on March 10th of 2009. On May 19th, 2009, a 20th anniversary standalone edition was released, and that standalone version contains the exact same special features as the anthology set, both DVD and Blu-ray counterparts. There's two differences. This version includes a 50-page booklet guide to the film, and a slight variation in packaging from the normal Blu-ray cases. I have the anthology set. I don't need another... If it's the exact same copy, I don't need another copy of the DVD, even if it does come with a booklet.
See, I kind of wish Warner Brothers would give you the option, like, hey, if you pay $5 plus shipping, you can get this booklet to complete your set, instead of having to go out and buy the film again just for the booklet.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really don't like, and that's the thing that people were arguing about when the Batman the Animated Series complete series set was released. It basically is all of the original season volume sets put into one package with a 40-page booklet, and it does have collectible packaging, but I never had the Batman the Animated Series set, so I mean I was good with that. I was okay because I wasn't double dipping. I wasn't paying extra because I never had those volume sets. But yeah, I don't understand why companies would do that. It doesn't make any sense.
It comes down to marketing and the collector guys, because you know what, Mike? There are people, not unlike ourselves, that are going to pay for this again just to get the booklet. I mean, I bought different packaging for different DVDs. I'm not going to divulge what they are, but I've done this just to get new booklets or new packaging that looks really cool, and I'm a sucker.
Yeah. Steve, do you have any final thoughts on Batman 89 before we go to break?
It's one of those movies that I would have to say it's not my favorite out of the Batman movies, but I'd have to say that this is probably my favorite out of the classic four.
Right, yeah.
And if you're not going to watch any of them, I would at least suggest watching just the...
Wow. You're breaking up, Steve.
I have no idea why. It's probably Skype.
Yes.
It's because Tim Burton doesn't want you to talk bad about his only good.
Now. All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back.
Hello. Gotham Corner Store? Yes, we seem to be down to our last Diet Coke. A gentleman is on his way to the summer. Just look for a black car. No, this black car will be rather difficult to miss. And by the way, the gentleman is usually in quite a rush. Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke!
We are back. Thank you for joining us here on Movie Week in Review. There are several ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. The first is you can visit www.geekcastradio.com, where you can find all of our other podcasts there. And the second is you can stop by PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Those are our forums. Please leave us reviews in iTunes. That is the best way to help the show. You can leave us a voicemail. The voicemail line is 502-526-5821. Please say what show you're leaving the message for and your name. We are on Twitter at GCRNMwire. Mine is TFG1Mike. Steve, what is your Twitter?
SCP-21.
And Mike?
At Birdman Dodd.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of M-Wire and wish you'll join us next time when we will be continuing the DC Spotlight Volume 1 with Batman Returns. For now, I am TFG1Mike with...
Steve Megatron Phillips.
Mike the Birdman Dodd.
Saying in the immortal words of Mike, what do you have to say? Close the show.
Well, as I'm often fond of saying every time I sign off, live free or die hard. And stay tuned next time, guys, because there's a lot of cool crap coming up.
What, no fart?
Mr. Wayne told me to tell you that he might be a little late.
I'm not a bit surprised.